Okay, today is June the 15th, 2019. Right now at 10:15 p.m., we have a temperature of 60 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 75.3%. We have a dew point of 52 degrees, and the barometer is steady at 29.87 inches. All right, so we're looking at the northeast Pacific water vapor loop, and all this past week, starting on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had very, very heavy spraying in the Southern California area, chemtrail aerosol spraying. And if we look at let's go back and take a look here at the maps that I saved from this last week. This is June 10th. And we can see clearly what's happened. Now, we had a tropical flow moving right into California on June 10th. This actually began on Sunday the 9th. And so we see all this moisture moving into California, but yet no precipitation. And this continued all the way through Wednesday, this same pattern, until high pressure was installed right on top of this flow pattern, and that evaporated and basically cut off the moisture flow, and that cut that off after about 4 days. So we had, at the same time that this was moving in on the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, we had 95-degree temperatures in Southern California in the foothill areas. Hot temperatures, and instead, with this flow pattern here, this is a tropical flow pattern, Pineapple Express, we should have had cooler temperatures down in the 70s or even the high 60s, and maybe some precipitation from this pattern. But that didn't happen. You can see here in the infrared map, all that moisture streaming right into central and southern California. And on the Doppler map, there was zero precipitation anywhere in California, a little bit in Nevada, as I remember, and out over New Mexico and Texas, there was a lot of rain, but nothing here. So that's what we saw last week. That's why we had a lot of chemtrail aerosol spraying, is because the weather controllers were preventing the precipitation process. We had a no rain forecast, and the heavy spraying ensured that there was no lift in the atmosphere. So we have to have two components for precipitation. We have to have lift in the atmosphere, and we have to have moisture. Of course, the moisture is right here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look next at some of these other maps. We have today's map, which is the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. And we can see the pattern here. We've got high pressure installed in this area. That's pushing away all this monsoonal thunderstorm activity. We had afternoon spraying today, some fairly heavy spraying today in the Southern California area. If we look at the western U.S. map, we can see a lot of this moisture moving in. We have a no rain forecast for the time being. You see these pockets of moisture moving in, but yet no precipitation. If we take a look at the Doppler map here, all the weather is occurring right here over Texas and Oklahoma. A lot of thunderstorm activity right out here, but nothing over California, Arizona. Just a little bit of rain here in Nevada. That's the current conditions, current situation. Looking here at the Northeast Pacific infrared map, we can see a lot of, got a counterclockwise pattern right here. We've got a weather system right here just south of the Aleutian Islands. We've got some jet stream flow here. And we've got high pressure installed down in this area. There are no disturbances down the eastern Pacific right now. There's nothing showing on the National Hurricane Center map for the Atlantic or the East Pacific or the Central Pacific for the time being. All right. So that's the situation there. The East Pacific, we can see some thunderstorm activity right along here. All right, let's take a look at some pictures I've got set up here. This here was an eastbound, or rather a westbound flight over, I think it was North Carolina, looking out the window. We can see this was taken by a friend of mine, and we can see this thunderhead, these rising columns of air. I'll show you the sequence here. Let's start with the beginning. Right over here, we can see the rising columns of air all around the area. This is last, excuse me, last July, flying westbound to California, heading over, it was North Carolina. We see these rising columns of air. This is cumulonimbus development all around here. Now let's go take a look at the next picture here, and we can see what happens on a particular thunderhead right here. It's been targeted. It collapses, and we can see all the steam and disorganization near the top of that thunderhead. Normally these rise up and they generate thunderstorm activity. The top of this has been disrupted. We can see the collapse and a lot of steam. That's very consistent with what we've seen out here on the West Coast. Also have a playlist here on this channel which has some great examples of this activity, video activity. So take a look at those videos and you'll see some great evidence of how these transmitters are preventing thunderstorm activity here in the Southern California area. We can really see what's going on here. This is a great shot right here of that thunderhead. It's been targeted. This area here is continuing to rise up. They'll hit this next. Actually, these are the only 3 shots I have that are really good to show us what's happening as we fly along there. Okay, the next shot, this is a great shot that was taken. This is a screenshot from January the 15th, 2016, during the California drought. We can see right here some great evidence. This is a right angle. It's been an imprint, satellite transmitter generated imprint on a low pressure system. We can see that the frontal system right here is being separated from the vortex, and that's what happens here when this occurs. This is the purpose. This right angle here is separating all the moisture, preventing this frontal system from wrapping back around and into that vortex. Now, this is one of the reasons why we don't see satellite maps on the local and national weather reports. Fake news will not show these maps. There's a reason for that, because the fake news people are peddling a false narrative. And let's get back to where I was here. Here we go. This next shot is a screenshot of Hurricane Florence, the eye wall, showing the disruption in the eye wall generated by these satellite transmitters. We can see the right angle over here. We can see clockwise rotation as high pressure is being forced into the eye wall of this hurricane. Look at the disintegration of the eye wall over here. Great evidence. But the mainstream media does not cover any of this activity, and there's a reason for that, because they are peddling the global climate change narrative, the global warming narrative, which is completely false. There are also websites out there that are promoting false information as well, mainly that these chemtrail aerosols are used to block sunlight. That is baloney. These aerosols are sprayed at precise times. We've proven that many, many, many dozens of times here on this channel. And mainly, well, what you have to do is watch the weather a little bit and you'll see what's going on. So tomorrow, I think that we may see, as this moisture approaches the coast of California, we're going to see more aerosol chemtrail spraying. Same here. We can see that this is moving right into Southern California. That moisture field right there. So expect to see more aerosol spraying. tomorrow may be lighter than today. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's fairly heavy today in the afternoon. All right, so we'll just leave it right here. That's the report for now, and we'll try to get another update much sooner. I've just been very busy, and anyhow, that's it.